Work doesn't fit, it flows. And this is important for you as an individual, for you as a leader, for you as a team member, because when we go to work, our work is held up at various levels and not able to be completed, either because it's not defined well enough, because we don't have what we need to get the work done, because people are fighting amongst each other, because we're fighting so hard to meet a deadline that we're not giving the work the attention that it's due. All of these things stop our work from flowing. And when our work flows, work feels really good. Whether it's an emergency, whether it's, bad work or good work, if it flows, it feels okay. So even if it's stressful work, if we understand that we know what we're doing and how to do it, we can get that stressful stuff done and it's not too damaging. When things become hard is when we're stressed and we don't know what to do. And if we ask, we're going to get in trouble for it. So work is like, we're going to use a transportation analogy. I'm an ex-transportation planner, but we're not going to go overly technical. We're going to go more in the Wayne and Garth level. And we're not going to go in the Thelma and Louise level. We're not going to go in the Jurassic Park level, but we're going to go maybe more in the fun of the Herbie or in the at least competence of the James Bond. But we've got cars. We understand that we have cars. Cars drive on roads and cars have drivers, right? So we have three types of flow here. We have workflow, which you all know, and that's the flow of value. That's your car going to a place that you want to get to, all right? So the car is going to a place and the value is delivered by you getting to that place in one piece and hopefully in a good mood. Now, you want to get there in one place? Well, you need a good road. You need operational flow. So your roadway needs to have a nice smooth surface, not a lot of potholes, not a lot of crazy turns and bends, not constantly under construction, no accidents, that sort of thing. And you are a driver, and in the driver is your brain, your creativity, your desire. So as professionals, we all have a desire to do good work, to get things done, to solve problems, and to leave things better than we found them. That's what professionals do. When work starts to become toil is when we're not able to do that, when we're not able to express ourselves as drivers, and instead we're going to work every day going, and trying to get around the potholes, but we're not actually focused on just like, I'm going to visit my friends, or I'm going up to go skiing, or I'm in the car such that when I get out of the car, something awesome will happen to me. I'll have dinner, I'll meet my friends, I'll do these things, all right? So workflow is the car, creation flow is you, and the road is operational flow. And we'll zoom in a bit on these stickies over here just to make these points stronger. So you can go ahead and do a screen cap and read these things. I'm not going to go through and read them all for you. But each one of these things has kind of a rule and kind of a metric and kind of a vibe. So we'll just go through operational flow as one of them, which is basically if the road's blocked or if it's impassable, then nothing moves. And then you have to stop. And then you have to look around, get new situational awareness, and say, what the heck am I going to do now? Am I going to take another route? Am I going to wait this out? Am I going to give up? Am I going to sell my car and forget how to drive? What is my response going to be to the fact that I can't get my work done because I don't have the gear to do it? So if you're trying to manage your work and you're using a tool to visualize that work and it's not a strong enough tool, then you don't have the right roadway on which to do that work, okay? Along with that, your workflow, that is the flow of value from something from ideation all the way to completion, or maybe even beyond completion to review, like did that go well? That's the workflow. And if your workflow is unknown, or if your team has different ideas of what that workflow should be, or if you start working on things and then you're interrupted by other people who are like, do this instead, do this instead, do this instead, that screws up your workflow. And it means you don't have a way of working. And that means that you spend most of your time parked. So time parked sounds like, you start a task and you can't finish that task. But also think of time parked as you were going to go do something today, but now you're in 3 meetings because you have to talk to all of these other people because everybody has lost track of what's going on. And I know every single person watching that video has had that happen to them. And if you haven't, it's because you haven't had a job yet. This is a human constant that we do this all the time. So we have the ability to get around this by building more collaborative ways of people to work between teams. The last one, again, the driver, the psychological flow or the creative flow. I wanted to call this creative flow in here to take this out of, oh my God, I don't want to talk about psychology. But when you're creating something, that's called work. Any work that you do is turning nothing into something. Raw materials into an assembled product, an idea into a document, concepts into actually talking to a client and having a good consulting experience. We as human beings, we create things every day. And if things stand in the way of that flow, then work is unenjoyable, work is impossible, and we need to fix it. So I'm going to use this finding flow board, which I used in the past here. And I'm just going to say, so we've got some stickies here in the ready for planning area, and we'll come back to that in a second. But right now, what most people have in their doing area is they have a flow killing number of things in that area. Now, yes, this is too much work in progress, but who cares? Everyone has too much work in progress. So what I'm going to say right now might be a little confusing for some people who have watched everything we're doing and we're constantly saying, do 3 things at once. But we all know that we're always going to have things that we're not fully seeing in flight. So we're never going to be able to fully avoid this doing column with a bunch of things in it if we're really honest. There's just a lot of things that are kind of going on. But what we want is to have like this second column, this currently in flow column. And then we can engage in something like the Pomodoro technique, or we can engage in something that we call focused collaboration. So I'm going to tell you this right now, is that if you are sitting alone, or if I know you're alone, I will interrupt you. Because that's what humans do. They're like, oh, hey, he's not doing anything right now. I can interrupt him. She's just sitting there. I can interrupt her. All right. That's what people do. But it's not appropriate and it's not nice, but you do it too. And you know it. So if you see 2 people talking to each other, you're like, oh, they're busy. I will talk to them later. So the one thing that you can do is you can say, okay, currently in flow, I'm going to say I can do one of 2 things. I can put myself in a Pomodoro state and let everybody know I'm indisposed of for the next half hour. You can come get me at, 8:30, 9:30, whenever the half hour is up. That gives people enough time to say, okay, 9:30, I can totally wait, 25 to 0 to 25 minutes for that person to be done. Or you put yourself in a room with somebody else and they're like, I can't interrupt that person until they're done with that person. Okay. Those are pretty much the only 2 ways that you can really reliably sequester yourself without upsetting people. Otherwise, they're going to be like, hey, you were at home all day and you had Slack off all day and I was trying to get a hold of you. All right. So this is what I want to say about this is that when you can pull that one ticket into flow and then you close the others and you just focus on this until it's done, then when it's done, you move it into done. All right. Then next you do that again. And I don't care if you do this alone with the Pomodoro or you do it with another person. Just understand that when you collaborate with another person, they're not a distraction. You're both focused on the same thing. And focus with another person is like making music. It is a wonderful thing once you get in and you create that environment where you're only paying attention to just that. I'm going to make that even more clear here. You're just paying attention to this. That's it, right? You're in there, you're creating that product together, you're focused together, and then you can complete together. You'll both remember the task that you did more deeply because you talk about it more when you're with somebody else, but you finish it better. There's less rework. So you can do this alone, again, as a Pomodoro, let other people know. But focus is super important, because if you're not focused, then you're going to be in this situation where you're going to be open to other people interrupting you. You're going to be, and those people are going to be those potholes, those other drivers, those other things. And then, just this last message here, when you've got that, then when you come out of that state, look for who's been looking for you and why. And I guarantee you that whoever was trying to interrupt you while you were in your flow state, those people need a collaborative state with them. And if you can do those two things together, you can create more flow using whatever toolkit you want, and things will be a lot better for everyone.